Hi, thanks for choosing this talk. My name is Kirby Llaban, and my topic is Fire Up Your Message: How Aspiring Catholic Creators Can Create Impact and Influence Online. This year's theme for the Jesus Centered Life Conference is Share the Joy, and the internet is a venue, it's a channel where we can share the joy of the gospel to more and more people. So let's get ready to fire up our message. Let me begin by sharing with you my story of how I discovered my message, since our topic is Fire Up Your Message, and how I became an online missionary. You know, when I graduated college, I wanted to make a difference in the world. I wanted to change the world. So I answered the call to become a full-time missionary for Couples for Christ for 16 years. And I also went to 36 countries in the process. I also got to Sierra Leone, Africa, where I went on mission hopping from one village to another, just preaching the good news, sharing the gospel to as many people possible, the people whom I meet, and through events that we did in that place. In the course of time, I got married to my wife, Michelle, and my family was becoming bigger and bigger. So I prayed about it. Lord, is this still what you want me to do? Is mission work still the calling for me at this point in my life? So I prayed about it, and I realized that I was transitioning to a new calling, a new stage of life. And so I prayed and decided to become an entrepreneur. But this is what happened to me at that time. I had no knowledge of business. I didn't know where to start, how to go about it. And so I was so demotivated. I was so discouraged. And I didn't know where to go. So I felt that I had to go to a retreat to be able to find clarity for my life. And there I discovered that I needed these things so that I can move forward with confidence. First, I needed to discover my passion. Second, my purpose. Then my vision. Then my personal values. Then my goals. And the message that I wanted to share to the world. So I called it my Fired Up Life Blueprint. And here's what I discovered. My purpose was to reach and serve those who need to find passion and purpose in life. Let me ask you, what's your favorite day of the week? I'm sure you won't answer Monday. You'd be answering Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And so I felt that my mission was to really reach out to people in the workplace and help them get fired up, especially on Mondays. So I grew my business as a training consultant and gave talks to different business groups and religious groups and all kinds of groups that needed motivation. So that's how I started to realize that, hey, I gotta help people get fired up. And so more and more clients poured into my business. I realized at that time that I needed to write down my learnings from 16 years of mission work and my years in entrepreneurship. And that's how my first book came out, The Fired Up Life. And I felt blessed because that book was published by Shepherd's Voice Publications, and it got distributed to all the major bookstores in the Philippines. Later on, I found out that I really had to promote my book. My message, The Fired Up Life, would not sell itself. So I started to research. I started to follow podcasters, authors, influencers, and marketers of how they were able to promote their message. So I listened to Russell Brunson, Stu McLaren, Gary Vaynerchuk, Brendan Burchard, Donald Miller, Peng Joon, Pat Flynn, Michael Hyatt, anyone who was teaching about marketing their message online. So I binged listened to their podcast. I bought their books, entered their training programs. So that's what I did. I was also blessed to get to know Brother Bo Sanchez, and he helped me promote my book as well. A year later, I became one of the best-selling authors of Kerygma books and was able to speak at the Manila International Book Fair. Praise God for that. And of course, I knew that the book was not the end of it. It wasn't enough to spread my message, the Fired Up Life, through books. I had to reach more people. I had to go online. And so I started to blog. I put up my website, KirbyLlaban.com, and I blogged weekly and tried to reach more and more people online. Soon after that, I realized that video is one of the most effective tools to influence people and share the joy of the gospel to hundreds, if not thousands, with just one video. I started to do 1 minute videos and I called it Fired Up in 60 Seconds. Soon after that, I started my own podcast because I realized that people stay with you more when they listen. They are more engaged with your message when they are listening through a podcast. Videos, yes, it's okay, but they tend to scroll up immediately. But when they're engaged with your podcast, you can influence them more. Then a couple of months later, I got invited to give a talk on TV and also do some interviews. I was also blessed to be nominated as one of the male influencers of the Catholic Social Media Awards in 2018. Everything seemed to go well for me from 2018 to 2019. My business was doing well. We were making a lot of progress with our social media accounts. It was great. But we know what happened in March of 2020. Basically, 2020. COVID struck and my clients canceled my trainings, and I was supposed to have mission trips during that time to also promote the book. It also got canceled, and of course a lot of heartbreaks because some of my friends died because of COVID. When the pandemic was starting out, there was uncertainty and a lot of major changes. I knew that I had to bounce back from that setback. And this is what I did. Instead of relying on clients and invitations from groups to give talks, I started to do an online show. And I called it at that time Fired Up Coffee Sessions. Today it's already called Fired Up Live Show. And so far, it has already 332 episodes. And during the pandemic, I also had more time to write. So I published my second book, 365 Fired Up Days. Soon I got nominated again by the Catholic Social Media Awards in 2020 as one of the male Catholic influencers of the year. Then I realized that I could teach what I have learned through those 4 or 5 years that I've been trying to evangelize online and build my business online to more and more people. And so I put up firedupuniversity.com. It's a website for creators. It's a website for those who want to build their online platforms, whether it's business, whether it's advocacy, or whether it's about sharing the gospel online. And I am blessed to be able to mentor a few of them, and I could see their platforms already succeeding. My message, The Fired Up Life, also gave birth to other expressions that are connected to it. Not only Fired Up University, but also a Fired Up Life store. I also put up a publishing company, Fired Up Life Publishing, and Fired Up Life Training Services, and many other sub brands that have resulted from my one big message, The Fired Up Life. I could say that through the years, the Lord has always been faithful, and He has allowed me to make a difference in my own little way, especially online, to fire up people's lives and be able to influence them and share the joy of the gospel to them. And so we need to fire up our message. There is an urgency to share the gospel to as many people in the world. We need to create impact and influence. And the time is now. We have the internet, we have a voice, and we have the capacity to reach thousands, if not millions of people in today's generation. Let me ask you, what's your number one struggle when it comes to promoting your message online? Maybe you can relate with some of these. First is, some people feel like they're gonna run out of content. Baka maubusan, baka wala na tayong maipopost, right? Some are intimidated with the tech side. I don't know websites. I don't know social media. Others think about design. I don't know how to make my message visually appealing. Ayan, di ba? We might also think that Yes, I want to spread the gospel online. I want to spread my message online, but I just don't have the time. Or perhaps you're thinking about the fear of criticism. Paano kung mabash ako? What will my former classmates or batchmates say about me? What will my neighbors say? I might get criticized. What if I'm not good enough? These are some of the things that you might be thinking right now. You know, the internet offers limitless possibilities. Maybe we can ask ourselves these questions. How can we maximize this opportunity in the internet? It's there, it's actually free, and you can just use your cell phone. It's always with you. What are we not yet doing to spread our message or the gospel message online? Right? Next is, what can we take advantage of? What are the free stuff? The different platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they're all free. We have to take advantage of them because they are channels of our messages. And of course, you need to put some time and thought into that, but the advantage there is that they're not charging us with anything, and millions of people are there. And lastly, we might want to ask ourselves, how can we make an impact? When I say impact, life-changing impact. Perhaps you're going to influence people's decisions because of the content you're making. And so it's time to really fire up our message. The internet is there. You have to put your passion, your purpose into a message. In my journey, the story that I told you earlier, I realized that we need three things in order to effectively impact and influence others through social media. These three things are: first, clarity; second, of course, content; and third, you have to build a community. There was a time when I was lost, so I needed clarity. When I found clarity, I had the confidence to post more and more of the content that I feel that God is asking me to share to the world. I also realized that I needed to publish consistent content. And as I published consistent content on a very regular basis, daily and some weekly shows, I saw that a community was forming already. A community of people who followed my message, a community of people that of whom I served, right? And whom I communicated with, whom I nurtured. And these people also supported the message and made it sustainable for me. So these are the three things: clarity, content, and community. And so you can see here, this is the fire up your message framework. These are three C's that you just need to remember all throughout this session, all throughout this talk. Again, that's clarity, content, and community. And so this talk will be divided into these three parts as well. Clarity is about finding your one big message. In my case, my one big message is the fired up life. To find clarity, it's important to know who you are called to serve. The tendency of people who share the gospel message, people who create a platform online. Our tendency is to really say, I want to reach everybody. But you know what? When you cannot pinpoint your primary audience, you'll be struggling. You'll be actually having a watered down message. You gotta have a niche, and that is your who. Now, in my case, my who are people who struggle at work, and therefore the Fired Up Life is a work motivation platform because I went through that, and my struggles and how I overcame them is the message that I am sharing with them, and how that message is also translated in our faith life. So find your who niche, find your niche. And if you've already found your who, if you're clear about who you're talking to, who you will be serving, now it's easier now to find out what it is you want to say to them, right? So can you imagine talking to a lot of people with different backgrounds, and you're gonna share your message. So you'll be generalizing all the time. But if you have your who, the what becomes easier. So what do you want to say to them? To simplify things, you need to find your one big message. So again, my clarity is this: who I'm called to serve, people who struggle to find motivation at work. And my one big message is fired up life. What's yours? Think about it, pray about it. Later, I discovered a formula to be able to come up with your one big message. And there are four aspects to having this OBM, or one big message. First is you've got to have a brand, a clear brand. Next is you got to have a tagline so that your brand will be explained through that tagline. It will be clear what value you'll be sharing to other people. Next, you've got to clarify your topic. What's the one thing you want to be known for? And finally, you've got to pin down your story, because the story adds a lot of value to your message. People want to know where you're coming from. People want to know why you're sharing your message. So the story reveals that. Brand is about what people will remember. What is it that people will associate you with? So in my case, when somebody says the word fired up and they've heard my message, then they will refer to me because I keep on repeating my brand, fired up life. So if you notice, this session or this talk is called Fire Up Your Message. It's always consistent. No? The fired up life expressed in many different ways through my from my e-commerce platform, Fired Up Life Store, through my online course platform, Fired Up Courses, through my membership site, Fired Up University. You'll see my brand there all over. So it's important to really establish your brand. What will people remember you by? You can see some examples here. Of course, my own example, the Fired Up Life. And you'll also notice that, Nike has their brand. They have a logo, and it's very recognizable. And we know that it's associated with sports, right? Through the decades, Nike has established itself as the number one brand for shoes and other sports equipment. Tony Robbins also has created his own personal brand. You see, so there are different types. There's a personal brand, there is an advocacy brand, and there's a corporate brand. So you see, Tony Robbins has his personal brand, his motivation brand, and he carries his name for that brand. So what's your brand? Next part of the one big message, the OBM, is the tagline. The tagline is the value you are offering. It's the problem you're solving. It's the cause or message you are communicating. In my case, the Fired Up Life's tagline is helping you get motivated and focused in pursuing your dreams and living out your faith. I wanted to be clear that yes, it's a motivational platform, but at the same time, it's a faith-based motivational platform. And my message is encouragement. My message is about inspiration, right? So that's the Fired Up Life. That's the tagline, clarifies it for the viewer, clarifies it for your followers, and of course, it clarifies me as well on what content to put out. You will also see here the tagline of Nike, to just do it. So it's really associated with sports. It's associated with getting things done, or just pursuing something despite how you feel, whether you're motivated or not. Just do it. And it's a popular tagline. McDonald's is also famous for its tagline, love ko to, or I'm loving it, right? So that's how they want to be associated with that word love. The feeling that they love the products, that they love the experience, and that's what they want to project. And another platform of mine is Fired Up University, or Fired Up You. Simply, I just put there, it's an online school for creators. It's important to be clear with your tagline. Some taglines might sound clever, but at the expense of clarity. So it's important to be clear with your tagline. In the case of online creators, it's different when you compare what you do with these big brands. Now, the big brands can be somehow generalized or even vague at times. Like Love Ko To, or just do it. But for online creators, we've got to be more specific and clear, because when a follower, a prospect follower visits your page or website, they got to know right away what they're going to get from it, right? So that's why mine is more elaborate. And I think the tagline should be like that for creators. Next part of the OBM, or one big message, is the topic. What is the one thing you want to be known for? What is your expertise? What is your niche? Some examples here, especially when it comes to our faith. Mine is motivation and spirituality. So that's my niche. That's the thing that I want to be known for. I want to be that guy who motivates people in their faith. A person that I've heard of before is Christopher West. His niche in the world of theology is theology of the body. And one of my good friends, his name is Burns Kaasi. His niche is apologetics, or defending the faith. And his brand is Unboxing Catholicism. So you don't have to talk about everything about the faith. Okay, you have to focus on a niche. Otherwise, people will not know what to expect from you. Okay, and besides, you want to go deeper into something. You want to be an expert on something. You don't want to go too wide, right? You want to go deeper on a niche. So that's topic. The fourth part of the one big message is the story. It's very important to come up with your origin story. You may have noticed at the start of this presentation or this talk, I started off with a story. And the story helps you get more connected to the audience, because if the audience will listen to you, they will ask, where is this person coming from? Why is this his message? How has he or she arrived at his message? So how did you arrive at your message? The story will reveal that. So try to already think about the story, your origin story. Your story can begin with a problem that you encountered in your life that's connected to your main message, of course, and how you were able to overcome that problem. Perhaps someone came along to help you, or you went to a seminar. Maybe you've read a book, or you went to a retreat. What was your turning point, right? And what did you do as a response to that realization? Your plan of action and what you are doing now. So your story can be simply that kind of structure. Conflict, then the solution, and what you are doing now. What you are doing now. So your story can progress into that very simple structure. Stories are very helpful when it comes to interviews, because if you have your online message already and you have pinned down your topic, you are known to talk about that one thing, right? You will be interviewed in podcasts, you'll be interviewed in live shows, and even on TV, when the time comes. So the first question that the interviewer will ask, so tell me your background, tell me your story, right? That's what they will ask. And I came across that when I published my book, and one who was interviewing me in the radio exactly asked me that question. What's your story, Kirby? Then I realized that really I have to write down my story in a systematic way so that I can maximize the impact of that opportunity. So in order to find clarity, again, you have to find your one big message, and that is comprised of your brand, your tagline, your topic, and your story. And this is how mine looks like. And this has helped me in so many ways to produce a lot of content, to be able to be more confident when it comes to sharing my message. So here, my brand is Fired Up Life. My tagline is helping you get motivated and focused in pursuing your dreams and living out your faith. My one topic is work motivation and spirituality. And my story is this. You've heard my story already, but I just want to show you that, if you write down your story, it will be clearer. All right. I hope you get your one big message finalized. So in summary, clarity is about your who and your what, who you are called to serve, and what you want to say to them, and of course, our one big message, which is your brand, your tagline, your topic, and your story. All right. Now we have put one check on our framework, which is clarity. Now we have two more, which are content and community. Let's proceed with content. In terms of content, I also made a framework for you guys. Let's remember these three things. First is you need a framework for your content. Second, you need a funnel. Now, this is quite a marketing or business term, but it's very important. Third is you need to have a fixed schedule to keep your content going. So let's dive in. Creating a framework is very important. It's basically 3 to 5 pillars that you believe are important to the results that you want to see in the lives of your target market or target audience or your who. So 3 aspects. And you can see here as an example, the framework of clarity, content, and community is always being communicated through the talk because that's my framework. And you can also see here in my first book, I've also created a framework, 3 parts. Discover your fire, build your fire, and spread your fire. And in my show, I also have this framework to guide me in my content creation. My latest series in the Fired Up Life show is called Catechism on Fire. So I had to think about a framework where the audience can easily grasp my message and at the same time help me deliver that. So my content for my show is first to discuss about doctrine. Second is to talk about the discernment on what to do in response to that doctrine. And third are suggestions on my end, which are called deeds. So doctrine, discernment, and deed. So that's my framework for my show. So if you want to create content, better start with having a framework. So a framework is like those big chunks or pillars or 3 parts, 3 to 5 parts that you can come up with. These will be the sources of your other content. The second important thing about creating content is to think about your funnel, to think about, yes, the embudo, the funnel design of what you are spreading online. Okay, so what is a funnel? It's basically how you bring your audience from free content to paid content. Now, a lot of Catholic creators would say, what? I'm going to get paid for this? No, it's not about just getting paid. It's about sustaining your mission. So what does your funnel look like? It's giving free value, but also towards the end, you will be asking them to contribute, or you'll be asking them to buy a product from you, or you'll be asking them to donate. That's important because any kind of engagement or any kind of platform, it costs money as well. So you need to find a way where you can sustain your message. You know, a lot of content creators start strong, but later on they feel like, I'm not going to continue this because it requires a lot of time, you know. And of course, if that time is not compensated monetarily, you know, you will feel like your family is suffering because of what you're doing, right? So you need to monetize also your content, right? So if you're into that, if you need monetization, you have to have a funnel. So this is literally what a funnel looks like. As we all know, it's an embudo, you know, in Filipino, embudo. And on top, it's big, right? Because like social media, you're able to reach thousands, if not millions, depends on your content, depends if it goes viral. But people are now introduced to what your message is. So it's free. No, you create free YouTube videos, you create your blogs for free, you create your videos and all these other things, the graphics, it's all for free, right? But you have to think about where you're bringing them. No, so for if you reach 1,000 people, maybe 100 people will go through your paid content. And what does a paid content look like? It can come in a form of a book which you wrote, coming from the inspirations from all your postings, right? It can be an online course, it can be an event. You know, be creative. Think about products, think about services that you can give. So in some cases, it can also be a membership site. In my case, I have all these types of paid content that is offered to my audience, no? Because paid content is helping your audience understand your message more. It's it's engaging with you more, and actually you become more available also for them through these platforms, especially mentoring and coaching and membership sites. So in your paid content, you also have what we call a front end product, no? Front end product, and there's also a back end product. When I say front end product, it means it's a cheaper, it's the cheapest version of what you offer. Okay, the back end product is the more expensive one. This can come in coaching. This can be in a more of a personalized service, right? So think about your funnel right now. What does your funnel look like? If you're an advocacy group, and you'll think, di naman para sa pera to, no? But how do you sustain your group? There's also a cost for Zoom. There's also a cost for StreamYard and all those other platforms, right? Even creating a website has a cost. So you want your mission to become more sustainable, and the way to do that is to design a funnel. The third part of content creation is to have a fixed schedule. What's a fixed schedule? It's the time you dedicate to create and publish content. When you enter into social media influencing, when you get into this game, there will be days where you won't feel like publishing. So if you have a fixed schedule, whether you feel pumped up, fired up, or motivated or not, you have to deliver. And that's what a fixed schedule can give you. Like for me, my live show, which is one of my major contents, my live show, the Fired Up Live Show, comes out every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. So I have to keep producing content like that because the followers are expecting, right? And daily, I write mini blogs for my content, at least a 3-paragraph blog that is connected to a picture. And it's doing well. And there were days that I thought that this content is just a simple message, but it resonated to a lot of people, right? So having a fixed schedule is vital. Definitely the number one problem is a lack of consistency. So if you want to spread the gospel online, you've got to be consistent. And I'm sure it will pay off in the end. More and more people will get inspired. More and more lives will become changed, and you will be able to really help them with the message that you are offering. So you need to find that time so that you can publish consistently. Once again, let me review the second part of creating content. You've got to have a framework. This is like 3 to 5 pillars of what you want to share to your audience. Second, you've got to have a funnel, your free content to paid content to make your mission sustainable. And third is you've got to have a fixed schedule so that you can publish consistently. All right. We now have 2 checks out of 3 in our Fire Up Your Message framework. The third part is building a thriving community. All right. That's our third C, community. When I talk about community, I refer to these 3 things. First is having followers. Second is creating a group. And third is having an email list. So let me talk about followers in brief. Followers are the people who subscribe to your page. These are people who, decide to follow you. They might just be watching you, following your content, scrolling. They might be engaging from time to time. They might like and share. And most of them just watch. Most of them just observe, right? So those are your followers. Second, the groups, briefly, groups are specifically the people you invite to join. It can come in the form of Facebook groups. The third is the list, specifically collecting emails. Okay, so I'm going to share with you these aspects one by one. So as I mentioned, the followers are those who like and share your posts, and you need to get their KLT or the kiliti. What does KLT mean? Know, like, and trust. So they might know you through your brand or through your post, but the second level there is, do they like your personality? So you've got to bring out who you really are, right? And that's what differentiates you from other people who may have the same message. It's how you share the message. It's your way of communicating, right? And of course, the trust part is very important. This is something that you build over time. When you are consistent with your posts, it builds trust. When their lives are changed because of what you've shared, when they were able to make a decision, a better one because of what you shared, then they will trust you, right? So this is our goal for our followers, the KLT, know, like, and trust. Hanapin niyo po yung kiliti nila. KLT, kiliti. Now you have to progress from just having followers to making them feel that they're a part of something. So specifically, they're part of a group. So you can either offer a free group or a paid group. So in my case, I have a free group and a paid group as well. So from my followers in my page in Facebook, The Fired Up Life, or Kirby Llaban Fired Up Life, that's my page, I invite them to be part of the Fired Up Creators group. So from the more general message of the Fired Up Life, which is motivation and spirituality, I bring some of them to become part of Fired Up Creators, so I can help them in their journey of also creating their own online platform. And for the more serious ones, I bring them to Fired Up University, where I give weekly master classes with them, where I engage with them for a full hour. And of course, provide them also with online courses that can really help boost their message. Okay, so you see here, there's a free group and a paid group. So you can think about that in your case. The main benefit of developing a group is to really form a deeper bond, right? That's really our goal here, to build relationships. Being in a group also means more access to you as the creator, and you are able to provide a support environment for them. The third aspect in creating a community is to build your email list. Now, a lot of creators struggle with this. They would say, do emails still work? Kailangan pa talaga bang mag-collect ng email? You know what? All these platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, in any day, in any time, something might happen to them. And if Facebook shuts down, what will you now do with your followers? So your goal is to really collect the emails of your followers. And how do you build your email list? Simply, you offer something for free, right? Like a free PDF or a free video or a free mini course. And they sign up for it, right? And when you get their emails, of course, you tell them that you will be sending newsletters once a week or maybe every other day, to help them with their struggles, to help them understand your message more. Okay, so that's how you build an email list. And I tell you right at the very start, make sure you're able to put this in your strategy already. It took me some time to realize that emails are very important. One beautiful thing about emails, if you're actually offering a product for your advocacy or for your business, it is the highest converting approach, emails, right? More than just posting it on social media, your products, the emails really engage the follower more, engage the person more. And if they let you into their emails, that means they trust you. In confidence, I can say that having an email list is the most important asset of a creator. Build your list. Build your list. So here we have it. We have already checked the 3 C's of firing up your message: clarity, content, and community. So let me summarize it for you. In order to fire up your message and influence others online, you have to have clarity, content, and community. Clarity is composed of who you want to serve or who you're called to serve and what you want to tell them. And that what is composed of the OBM, the one big message, your brand, your tagline, your topic, and your story. Okay? So don't forget that. Second is content. Remember that you need a framework, a funnel, and a fixed schedule. And lastly, in order to build a thriving community, you need followers, definitely. You need to have a group where people feel a deeper bond, a sense of belonging. And finally, have an email list. This is the most important asset of a creator. So I hope you got those three. Now, the time allotted for this talk isn't enough to teach you in detail all the principles of the 3 C's or the Fire Up Your Message framework. I've still got so much to share with you. I want to help you influence more people online, to help you spread your message to thousands, if not millions of individuals who are just looking for the Lord in their lives and trying to find ways and solutions that you might just be offering. So these 3 C's are also related to the common struggles of creators, not being able to find clarity, not being able to publish consistently with their content, and not actually know how to start in building communities, right? So I'd like to offer you something that can help you in building your online platform and in firing up your message. First is I created a clarity course so that you can have the confidence of what you think is God telling you to spread online. And so I created this course to expand on the OBM, or the one big message, the 4 parts of the OBM, right? Which is the brand, tagline, topic, and story. So this course is for you if you're still confused of what to put out there online. So you can get it in firedupuniversity.com/FUYM. Okay, FUYM means fire up your message. Okay, just go there and you will see that the cost of the clarity course is 1,500 pesos. So it took us couple of months to come up with this course. Okay, so if this helps you, then go ahead, go to that link and be able to purchase the clarity course. Another course I am offering is the content creation course. So you might be at that point where you're already having that message, you're already having a platform, but you just keep on failing to be consistent. Okay, so there's a lot of ideas here in the content creation course, and you can see the lessons here, the framework. You need to be able to have guidance in that. Content forms, which content form? Image, is it a live show? Is it videos? Is it through text? What is the form of your content? And lesson 3 will be about content funnels, where you're able to design the right journey for your audience to go from free to paid. Okay, and last there is it's the content fixed scheduling. So there are hacks there in terms of how you're able to pull it off despite being busy with work and family. How you'll be able to come up with content by having a fixed schedule. Okay, so all these 4 lessons, and they're available also in the same link, firedupuniversity.com/FUYM. It's at 2,000 pesos. Okay. The third offer here is the community building course. You'll see here, you learn how to build your followers, build your group, build your email list. And this is something additional to the framework, is how to build your membership site, which actually I have through firedupuniversity.com. So I'll be giving tips there that can help you do that, right? So it's at 2,500 if you want to purchase it at firedupuniversity.com/FUYM. But hey, if you want to get all 3 and save also, because you'd rather learn the whole framework than just learn one part of it. So go ahead, just go to the same link again, firedupuniversity.com/FUYM. and I'm offering a bundle. So if you total all those other 3 courses, it would amount to 6,000. But if you get the bundle, you'll get just 5,000. But there's a deadline. Okay, the deadline is December 19, 2021. It's a limited time offer. No, I won't be offering this beyond this date, December 19, 2021. All right. And yes, some of the people who went through this course, this is Burns Kaasi of Unboxing Catholicism. And he says here that he's able to launch his podcast, have a live show, an online course in a growing community. So if you check out unboxingcatholicism.com, he's one of my students there as well, and he went through this course. May Gomez is also an entrepreneur and a stay-at-home mom. No? So she wrote the book Joyful Stay-at-Home Mom, and she's part of my Fired Up University, and she was able now to monetize her content and build a thriving business out of the platform that she came up with. And now she's successful also in editing and helping people publish their books now. So that's May Gomez. She's also part of Fired Up University and also went through those 3 courses that I just mentioned to you. And here's Guada Villanueva. She's a part of Beyond Kilig, and she's the one of the founders of Beyond Kilig. And she's also joined my membership, Fired Up University, and went through the same course also. So she didn't know where to begin with her content creation. And I helped her lay down the foundation that she needed to establish in her advocacy's brand. There you go. So she went through my classes, and the classes of which are the courses that I mentioned to you. And the Beyond Kilig is now growing as a theology of the body platform. So you can read her testimonial here. Okay. So yes, I hope you get this course. But hey, thanks for really watching till the end in my session today. So again, you can go to firedupuniversity.com/FUYM. And if you get this course earlier, okay, the bundle is offered until December 19, but if you get it on December 15, okay, earlier, I will also give you my 2 ebooks, okay, my 2 ebooks. The Fired Up Life is actually worth 475 pesos, and 365 Fired Up days is 700 pesos. If you check out how much they are in my firedupcourses.com, that's their price. But I'll also give it for free if you purchase by December 15. Okay, so the total value of what you'll be getting is about 7,175, but you'll only pay 5,000 pesos for the whole thing, right? So all the 3 courses and the 2 ebooks, you get it all if you buy on December 15 or on or before December 15, 2021. So again, go to firedupuniversity.com/FUYM. And of course, this helps also my ministry thrive and grow. It helps people to get more fired up in their lives. So I hope you purchase the courses and get the bonus, the books. So that's it, folks. Thank you so much for being with me. And if you still want to ask me something, if you're confused about certain principles and want to know more about my offer, don't hesitate to email me at kirbyllaban@gmail.com. So that's kirbyllaban@gmail.com. All right, that's it for my session. I pray that you find clarity, that you're able to build your content consistently, and finally establish a thriving community of people who are just fired up to know more about what you have to say and to know more about God through you. All right, so that's it. Keep being fired up. God bless you.